following, and I think all of us at one point have been following, is that there has been a mass disappearance of black people that has not been in the media.
Yes.
And what we don't see and what we're not looking at, we keep seeing when Blanche and Brittany gets disappeared.
Right.
And, and the world must, pretty much, be wondered about our little blonde cousins, and, oh, she's gone and she's disappeared if you find her and all this. But we have 100,000 black children and people disappearing, and nobody's talking about it in the
mainstream. Yeah.
So
you already know.
Yeah, we spoke about this back about 15, 20 years ago about black disappearance and the use of genetics, the use of them for birthing, the use of them for essentially medical experimentation down underground. They have these underground bases that crisscross across the United States. I'm talking they have ways to get from one corner of the United States and even the world by way of these particular kinds of tubal trains that are at least 25, 30 miles under the earth. So we are looking at a mass, a planned tactical extinction. That's what I call tactical extinction of African peoples. And it's a necessity that they set up under Agenda 21 and under the Global 2000 that has never been out of operation. They have been consistently. Where do you have a Center for Disease Control that is creating diseases? How do you deal with a place called the Center for Disease Control or the World Health Organization that promotes sickness? How is it that you maintain laboratories that go 6 and 7 levels deep? The deeper you go, the more dangerous the bacillus. What are you doing? You are creating these entities. You are keeping these things alive to use as weapons. So there is a tactical maneuvering, a warfare, a silent weapons for quiet wars that are taking place, against peoples of color in order to crop us down to that number. And white folks are going to see it. Every time shit comes up to black people on the news, white people say, "Oh, those black people, it's typical of what's happening to them." And then, of course, now when we see shit hit the fan and this shit starts rolling up on white people's doors, oh, my God, we're in trouble. This is the kind of nonsense that we have to get out of. We have to stop worrying and waiting for white people to react to what we know is coming. We have to act on it when it hits us, because when it hits us, it's going to be inevitable it's going to hit them. But we want to be prepared. Nobody knows how to survive like black people know how to survive in this country. White people need to take lessons from black people on how to survive the coming times. We can write books about dealing with taking one potato and feeding 5 children. You see what I'm saying? We know what surviving is. We know how to take a coin, 2 cents, and make it into 10. We know all about that because that's what we've had to do, and that's why we built a society right after, during the Reconstruction. We built a society that was seriously a challenge to white society on this continent, and that's why it had to be destroyed. They had to drop a bomb on it. So
absolutely.
We are the problem solvers. We are the innovators. We are the people that people look to see how they're going to act. You all know that. Your generation pretty much taught white people's kids how to act and how to be, how to talk. Justin Timberlake got a whole career out of looking at black people and acting. So every time black people create their new condition and circumstance, white people look to them to see what their kids are going to do next. So we are the creators. We are the problem solvers. We're the ones that can change things. But we have to be in control of what we change. We don't control it. They take it and they use it as a weapon against us. Hip-hop became rap, and that was how it was weaponized. So we have to take that. We have to take back the creativity that comes out of our community, and we have to now make it into a product that serves our purposes, not theirs.
Absolutely. And there's 2 other things I want to, just to piggyback off what you said. that effect that I heard somebody very pointedly state that they call it too black for the white milk carton when these people go missing. And it's almost to the point where that's how, for all intents and purposes, China survived for so long. They became closed off. And we have a cultural distinctiveness about us, but, and I know you know from different pantheons, the secrets must be kept sacred. You can't tell and show everybody every damn thing. Period.
It's true. We always said that. We always said that there's not a majority that we need to change things because it's a minority that's screwing up the planet, not the majority. So all we need is a dedicated minority. And the way they had circumvented that was to destroy. See, they have two different MJ projects. The MJ project, which they call Majestic Project, was about extraterrestrials. But the MJ project in the black community was Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, and Magic Johnson. When they destroyed that, that was going to be the next MJ project. The MJ project that we had, the Majestic project for us, was them taking the money and converting it into the black community. When they said we will kill off everything and destroy everything you own, they had to back off. They undermined Michael, they undermined Michael Jordan, and they undermined Magic Johnson, and just turned them into functionaries, jigaboos that just push a product. So, from this point on, we have to find what I call the dark matter think tank, where you go dark. We have to go dark. We can't be coming out in the light like Tavis Smiley and getting every man, jack, celebrity black man up there and start telling everybody what we got to do or what we are going to do. It don't make no sense. You plan in incubus. All things that happen, all life begins in the dark. The womb don't have a spotlight in it. You see what I'm saying? Everything is done in the dark. Real things are done out of the range of other people. So if we have dedicated people who want to change, they need to go dark and begin to influence. And you know who did it? He was talking about buying political influence. We got to buy senators. We have to buy judges. We have to buy congressmen. We have to buy people, just like they say. That's like white folks do. The Jews buy their congress people to make sure they get their. The Italians buy their own people. The Arabs now come in and bought their own. We don't buy any power. That's why we don't have any power, no political power. That's why they can go up in Harlem and be sticking up everything inside of our town. That's how it is. We don't have any money, and they have, because of the MJ project being undermined, there's no way for us to control the massive wealth that's being given to these young kids in this sports arena. There's billions and billions of dollars that are being paid to these young kids to dance and act and to perform for white people, because most of the people in the stands when you look at the basketball game ain't no black folks. So they're making billions of dollars collectively, all these teams, a number of black people with all this money, and we can't collectively come together and create a bank. Why? Because the whites who give them the money control the money. And this is what Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Magic Johnson wanted to do. They wanted to control the talent, which essentially, that's the word talent, comes from Roman. That's what it is. Talent was a coin. It was a money. So when they say you got talent, they say, well, hey, yeah, he's going to be worth money. He's worth talent. So when they're telling you got talent, it means your money. So the talent is the money coming out of that community. They wanted to control the talent to put the talent back into the community.
Exactly. You know, that's something that I've come to coin as ethno-necromancy.
Interesting.
All right, I want to thank you so much, Doctor, for your time.
No problem. Thank you. Very, very interesting input. Thank
you. Yeah, that brother is one of the organizers here with the co-op, so hopefully we can all get up there and check it out, too. So that would be great. Right, Moonstone?
Absolutely. I'm going to talk to Dee about it and see how we can make that happen, or we'll all gel together.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Wallace. Do you have a question or a comment?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Dr. Phil. I am calling because I know you touch on a lot of the metaphysical aspects of it, and I'm definitely trying to prepare myself for what's to come, because you can, I mean, unless you're blind, you can basically feel it in the air that something is major coming, at least within the next decade. And but on the physical aspect, what would you suggest of how to prepare? I mean, because a lot of I've seen the map that I guess that was supposed to be part of the Agenda 21, and how they are, I guess, trying to quarantine all the urban areas basically to be the main points of, where they keep the masses and, whatnot. So what would you suggest in the next 5 or even 10 years, if it'll even be that long before, hell basically freezes over and it rained down on all of us?
Well, you kind of answered your own question, brother.
Get out of the area, huh?
Well, no, that's going to take a bit longer for us to go into anything of substance than this particular forum can actually afford to give right now, because there's no time. What you're asking is a systematic plan and a method of implementation that would begin to change the tide slowly. That's why I say I'm not going to even deal with anybody over 7 years of age at this point. Because at this point, after 7, the television has already trained your child to become overactive. It's already been, in other words, you know what happens when you're trying to hook somebody on a drug so that so you're creating a customer. You give them a sample of it, and you give them enough of a sample for them to get hooked, and then you up the charge. Well, that's exactly what they're doing with your children. They're doing that when they give them this overdose of Disney, and when only white children are being seen. For instance, if you go into the movies today and look at any animation, it's always about some Neanderthal child that's essentially the hero or heroine in this story. The only time they got black people in any of the stories of Disney is when they're animals. Now look at this very carefully. They never show you black faces because they tell you that nobody would go to the movies. Well, it comes to me, it seems to me that when you are in control of somebody's mind, you can always shift their perception of what it is you want them to think. So it isn't that you cannot commercialize the black, because blacks have constantly been commercialized and have been successful. You commercialize black by making sure that you teach white kids how to act black and then commercialize their blackness through this white child. So in all of these cartoons that is Pixar, and I've been looking at these things because I have grandchildren now, and I've been having children before, and I used to watch and monitor and steer them away from that madness. Today, here you have a black president. You think you have a black president that's supposed to mean change. And if you look at TV today, it's all white. There is no definitive, positive image to feed children today of themselves. They don't see themselves in any of it. So what I'm saying is, if you want to change something, you have to do what I see a lot of these young men and women are doing, these artists especially, these comic book artists like my good brother Machindo. They are putting out what will be in the next 10 years our black mythos. We have to start creating a mythos that our children will identify with, because it is the myth that drives the essence, the quintessence of the spirit of a culture. If a culture does not have a story, if it doesn't have a myth, it does not have anything to center its higher intelligence around. And we are now, and that's why Marvel is so successful today. with all these superheroes. They've created their own myths.